I'm Janet Connor, prayer artist, mystic witch, mistress of the thresholds, creator of the theater of the miraculous, and so many other delicious, glorious, delightful, mystical adventures. You probably know me as the author of a few books, 7 in total. But all of this, everything I am, everything I offer, is all foundationally supported by Deep Soul Writing. And right now I get to celebrate the 12th anniversary and a relaunch of this book that changed my life, and this book that I know has changed, gosh, tens of thousands of people's. There are almost 100,000 copies of this book in print in its various versions. Writing Down Your Soul. She came out originally in 2009 looking like this, that periwinkle blue. And then for 10 years, the owl led the way. And today, she comes to us with this fresh, new, glorious font. It's important to me that it's a font because this is a handwritten, not a typed. You can get into the theta brainwave state while typing, but there is something miraculous that happens when you have a pen in your hand. All these glorious things can pop through that you know you did not plan, you couldn't even ask for. They arrive. So the question I was asked 12 years ago when this book came out is, what is writing down your soul? The second question is always, but who is talking to me on the page? Who is the voice? And of course, the third one is, okay, how do I get there? So let us begin with, what is writing down your soul? And I think the story begins with the first words before we begin. I'll just read you the first paragraph. There is a voice inside you. There is a voice inside everyone, whether you hear it or not, the voice is there. Whether you acknowledge it or not, the voice is there. Whether you ask it for help or ignore its guidance, the voice is still there, waiting. It is waiting for you to stop, if just for a moment, and listen. The voice is always there, guiding you, encouraging you, loving you. This book is about connecting with that voice. So who is the voice? Who is the voice? My first editor, back when the manuscript was turned in 2007, kept pushing me. Yes, but who is the voice? Who is the voice? Is it an angel? Maybe. Is it God? Maybe. Is it the goddess? Maybe. Is it a whole raft of people, a whole committee of people, beings, divine beings? Maybe. Is it you speaking to yourself from the future? Maybe. Is it your soul? Maybe. It's all of those and so much more. And even though I tried to answer that question in the chapter called Who or What is Listening, the truth is there is no one answer. I cannot tell you who your voice is. Your voice will tell you who your voice is. And it's not a pinpoint, oh, I know her name. We're in chats now. It's a spiral. As you have this daily glorious conversation showing up as you are, having your life experiences, feeling what you're feeling, asking the questions that are bubbling up to be asked, this relationship goes deeper and deeper. And the voice, you realize, is so much more than you first encountered. There is no end. There is no end to the depth of who the voice is and the kind of relationship that you can have, a relationship that will carry you through your entire life. And I needed to learn that myself. And the story of how I learned who the voice is in the new introduction in this book. The original book didn't have an introduction, but I was asked for this relaunch to write an introduction. So I sat here and said, well, let's see, what is the most important thing I could tell people about this book? And I knew immediately that there was one story I had to tell, because it's the one story that isn't in the earlier versions, because it happened after the book came out. Now I tell the story in the introduction, and I want you to experience it for yourself, but I'll still give you the punchline. A stranger, who maybe isn't a stranger, crashed my first book signing and talk. And when I tried to answer the question everyone was asking me, what is writing down your soul? Is it journaling? Yeah, I don't think so. Is it meditation? No, because you're not silencing your monkey mind. Is it prayer? Yes, but no prayer you ever said before. What is it? And I reached the conclusion that I also reached in the chapter, who or what is the voice, who or what is listening. And I said, it's a conversation, which is true. It's a conversation between you and the beloved, your soul and the divine. It's this unnameable, glorious conversation. And this stranger interrupted me and said, I know what this is. Who are you? Some random guy that shows up at my first book signing. Everybody else in the entire room was holding up the original copy of this book. It was the first book signing, but he wasn't. He was sipping a cup of coffee. And he said the most important thing that anyone has ever said about this book, and the only thing that really matters. He said, this is a romance. This is a romance. And that surfaced a few years later, January of 2017, as this prayer, the romance. This is what I want to tell you. The romance is real, more real than sloppy kisses, more real than hot promises, more real than wedding vows even. This is the real love, capital L love, unconditional love, with you always love. After chasing that lowercase love for a long, long time, after bruising your cheeks with sobbing, scraping your knees with falling, and breathing so shallowly that for so long that you don't even know what an inhale is, after all that, the romance is still here. And it is waiting for you. I know, because I picked up a pen one day and asked, are you there? Are you real? Do you hear me? And a voice answered, yes, beloved. Is there something you want to say? And in that moment, that sacred, ordinary, sitting in my chair moment, the round door between worlds opened and love walked through. We have been meeting on that threshold ever since. Each day, a revelation, a comfort, a query, a sigh. This is what I want to tell you. This is what I want to tell you. The romance is real. The romance is so real. My daily deep soul conversations with the beloved, with the romance, with L with a capital Love, who shows up every day with new names, new ideas, new questions that I really should be asking myself, new ideas that I could not have come up with under any circumstances. She shows up and she beckons me and she kisses me and she carries me into love, always and only into love. So how do you enter the romance in writing down your soul? That is what this book is about. Thank you for buying previous editions, for showing up in all kinds of prayer intensives and events that I have offered. And thank you to you who are now getting Writing Down Your Soul. Maybe it's your 10th copy, because people have a tendency to give these away like candy. Maybe it's your first. Whether you have been deep soul writing for 12 years, for 1 year, for 1 day, or today is the day that you pick up a pen and say to the beloved, are you real? Are you here? Do you hear me? And the beloved answers, yes. This is the day that you start this glorious, endless conversation and relationship with love, because the romance is real. I've offered a gift below full of all kinds of goodies that aren't in the book to help you really dive into the romance. I want to share the romance with everyone because the romance is real.